Okay.
Hype.
Hello, everybody. State of Exile Podcast episode 12. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I'm hyped about this one. We got some new overlays. Everything's like nice and clean. We got Stacy and Raiz is coming back again as our guests. How's everyone doing today? Pretty good?
Yes. Good. Hyped. Super hyped.
All right. And why are we hyped? The new expansion, the mini expansion, Forsaken Masters is coming out. If you don't know what Forsaken Masters is, it's its own separate mini expansion released by a game called Path of Exile. You can go to pathofexile.com. It's a free-to-play game, and it's the first time we're ever seeing something like this in an action RPG. It's so much hype behind it. Before we really get into everything Forsaken Masters, let's talk about what everyone's been doing in Path of Exile. Ziggy, you want to kick this one off?
Sure thing. So, downtime, it's like new expansion coming. You don't want to burn yourself out before the expansion because I'm going to be on 25-hour days. Yeah, 25-hour days when the expansion pack drops. So you kind of want to not burn yourself out too much and not play. But it's hard. It's difficult. So I've been doing fun stuff. I started this thing called the RNGesus Challenge, where basically you play a character playthrough that is completely randomized in every possible way. So you randomize your class selection. I just use random.org to use a random number generator. Randomize the character selection, even the name. I've had 2 characters so far. I had a duelist named Cutica, and I also had a scion named Haxux, which she's still running. She's still going, and then you randomize your skill gem selections whenever you have to select a quest reward, or if a skill gem drops, you random 1 or 2 whether you can use it or not. And then each of your passive point selections you also randomize. So it's been pretty interesting, and some interesting builds come out of it, and also some epic moments. My duelist Cutie was a dual-wielding wand barrage ice spear cleave duelist. So taking full advantage of the weapon swap and ice spearing for CC, dual barrage wands. It was meta-breaking, meta-shattering. And this new character I'm working on, Haxux, is going well so far. Kind of split arrow with a weapon swap to Val double strike, except I accidentally vended my Val double strike, so I had to sacrifice one of my items to appease RNGesus for my sins. But some good moments have arisen out of this. I highly recommend the RNGesus challenge. Still refining the rule set, the worship of RNGesus, as you will, but it's been fun.
I don't even know what.
You gotta try it.
You should accidentally
you don't know the path
other
of exile
Cleave.
until you do this.
Wow.
Just leave Cleave. You have to sacrifice every time you make a mistake. You have to sacrifice one of your gear randomly, one of your pieces of gear randomly.
And that is actually in the rules. You have to sacrifice.
That's in the rules. Yes, that is in the rules.
I need that.
Do me a favor. When this gets uploaded to YouTube, put a link for this RNGesus rule set. I'm gonna do it. This sounds really fun.
I can do that. I'll include the RNGesus rule set somewhere.
Well, currently I'm playing a Cold Snap Witch, and I'm using the Resolute Technique Keystone, and it allows it so you can never crit. And I'm paired it up with the Romaria's Banquet Diamond Ring. This ring, whenever you don't crit, you gain a power charge, and when you do crit, you lose them all. Well, I can never crit, so I have infinite power charges, essentially. And Cold Snap normally has a cooldown, but it can be bypassed by power charges. So I'm running around. Thanks to Raiz here, he told me I should put the Cold Grasp friggin' microtransaction on my Val Cold Snap. That's crazy. If you use Val Cold Snap with that, it is just I don't even know what's going on. It's just really creepy. Something out of, yeah, I won't even say what it is. But the build's really good. You chain freeze everything. It needs a little bit more damage because I can never crit. You have to overcompensate spell damage for it. But I'm having a lot of fun.
I love that pairing of the Ramirez Cold Snap. It seems like a lot of fun to play because it's a skill I've always wanted to use. And then when that item was finally added in, I'm like yes, now you can actually use it as a main skill.
Oh yeah,
it looks so much fun to use. Just the targeting, the instant kind of snap of it. It's awesome.
Everything's frozen constantly. Oh, it's beautiful.
I think just going on into it, I don't think you explained it enough about how insane the Cold Grasp effect is on the Vol Cold Snap. So if you guys know Merville, when she uses her Cold Snap, the hand comes out. If you use Vol Cold Snap, it's like an AoE 360 explosion of hands just erupting from the ground. I don't know how to explain it.
There's like
if
60
you
of them.
use it, it's like it's playing a horror game. Like you click it and you want to like Alt F4 because you're scared. So it's pretty insane. But onto that, I'm not really doing anything too exciting compared to Ziggy or Zeno. So my most recent character died from a Flame Blast one-shot because I didn't use a Curse Immune Flask. It's very important. But my new character that I want to play is, despite the lackluster Freeze Pulse and its clear speed, I really do want to stick with Freeze Pulse. I really do love it. And in the new leagues, I would like to jump right on into using Dual Totem Freeze Pulse. Yep. So how about yourself, Rise?
Well, for me, today was the first time that I ever played Righteous Fire, but it's not really Righteous Fire. Everyone thinks it is, but it's actually Lightning Warp. So the idea behind the build is to just jump around with Lightning Warp, killing mobs, kind of what we talked about on the last podcast, where we have this mobility skill that's also killing everything. And the biggest problem with the build, it's also an Iron Will character, right? So we get a lot of spell damage, and then we can boost it up with Righteous Fire. But the problem with the character was that it either jumped and killed everything, or jumped and killed nothing because of just how the damage works on lightning spells. So I feel Righteous Fire is a pretty cool addition, and also it's just kind of cool to finally try out Righteous Fire and really appreciate how overpowered, well, maybe not necessarily overpowered, but how powerful it is in a caster scenario, not only for the snapshot and just the pure damage that it does, but in just a caster scenario. It's really sick. And other than that, I've just been playing tons of different builds, trying to get as much knowledge as possible going into the next league.
I don't know about you guys, but I think he's playing Righteous Fire. That's all I heard.
Sounds like a rough
It's
to
actually,
me, Rise.
honestly, 90% of it is the lightning warp. Honestly, it is. The Righteous Fire helps because, again, like, it finishes off the mobs. It's kind of difficult to explain the way it works, but it finishes off the mobs, and I'm not using something like Prolift, so it makes it just incredibly random. You jump into a pack, like half of it dies, half of it just doesn't get hit, half of it has like half life, and you jump out and they take no damage. And Righteous Fire covers that, so it's really good. It's a ton of damage. I have like 1k strength now. I'm using a Dune and Iron Will. It's honestly pretty good. But also
Nice.
don't play it on stream because everyone just pukes. It's pretty bad when it comes to that. It's way worse than Flicker Strike. It's way worse than Flicker Strike, I'm telling you.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
Well, because at least Flicker is like, it's steady momentum. Lightning Warp is just kind of like...
Yeah.
It's difficult to explain.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I didn't expect... I play Flicker Strike. I never had problems. With this, yeah. I can't play for more than half an hour or I just get a headache. It's really bad.
So can I get a link to this build?
Sure.
I'm sorry.
I wanted to propose you, right? You also played a Ball Lightning character recently as well, and everyone thinks Ball Lightning is rubbish, but you've converted me. I'm one of the believers now. Talk about Ball Lightning a little bit.
I also did it
Not
wrong.
rubbish? You did
I
it
think it's
wrong
pretty
and it
strong.
still worked out okay. I thought.
I did a crit build with no crit, basically. So
Right.
that's
yeah.
the wrong part.
That's what I noticed.
Next week I'm gonna be playing Ball Lightning, and hopefully I have the right idea this time around, and hopefully it's gonna be strong. I'm still considering Iron Will, and I'm still considering a Dune over a Pledge of Hands 7-link, but I'm not sure yet. Because Ball Lightning, the way people scale it was just pure damage, while I'll try to scale it through just like stuff like slower projectiles, stuff like AoE.
Right.
That
AoE
really
increase.
doesn't give it direct damage, but it deals way more damage because of the way the skill works. So we'll see. It seems okay. Probably not better than Arc, but we'll see.
Probably.
Never.
Do you think it needs a buff or doesn't actually need a buff?
I'm not sure yet. Honestly, it's very difficult to tell when it's just the end of a league and there are skills that are so overpowered. And I mean, the thing that you think about is how does it compare to Arc? And compared to Arc,
Yeah.
it's not that powerful. It's really not. However, you can make up for the clear speed on the AoE by having really good single target, which Arc doesn't have, and this one does. So, but there are problems with it. Like using slower projectiles basically makes you do like 3 times more damage, but you can't really use it in a party because you're never gonna get close enough to the mobs. It has problems, but hopefully it's gonna be good.
All right. So, Stacy, what have you been playing?
It's finished in the 1 month race, and I played Righteous Fire.
And all right, so you did the 1 month race. You know for 1 month racing, how'd you end up?
I ended up 10th, 7th alive.
Nice.
Hell yeah!
Still crazy.
Nicely done.
2 in the top 10. Like 2 characters in the top 10.
Race killed me.
Dead. You're dead
I can
character.
feel the tension on the podcast as well.
It's just
Yeah.
crazy when you think about it. Like your dead
So
top
much
10
tension.
character has like 5 times more experience than my alive character. So it's just I don't know. It's just crazy.
So
How did
did
you
that.
how did you enjoy the race overall, Stace?
It was a lot of fun. I met a lot of people. Had a lot of help from people from my stream, from the community. Especially like maps. Maps are a huge issue. When the cartographers boxes went out with ambush, I blanked my whole map pool, so that part was kind of frustrating when you're trying to like get it back into the top 10 and you have no maps. So that was hard.
you mentioned you're not going to play Righteous Fire anymore. Now's your
Yeah.
chance to say it. What do you got plans for?
Well, I just started making a new character last night, and I think it's gonna be DD, Detonate Dead, and I have like a Flame Blaster, I have a Cycloner, I have a whole bunch of guys that I play all the time. Just Righteous Fire is so easy, and I can go
Bum.
AFK in maps.
It's just,
I don't
Righteous Fire is
recommend
so
it, but
fun though. I
it
don't
is
know, people call it boring, and it's so much fun. Leaf slamming, cycloning
Cyclone.
around, it's awesome.
Val
I love
Cyclone
it.
it's so fun just to watch the
Oh.
mobs, like see witches maps, sucking them
Yes.
all, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. And then you Val Cyclone, and then you Val Cyclone again. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You mentioned cartographers boxes with the special thing about the last league was the rotating rule set. Those that short time there with the boxes, the ambush boxes would have been like pretty clutch, I imagine. Like really going ham on those cartographer boxes. It was like right
That's
when
awesome.
people started getting into maps, I think, was like when they started spawning. So it's pretty interesting timing in that, but not towards the end when, everyone's trying to like sort out their final. Enough time for people to blank on their maps like you guys did. So I don't know. How do you guys go on the cartographers?
I was really lucky. I had a whole bunch, and then it's always RNG. So I had the last day, it's like, quick cartographer boxes, let's go, and I had 2 or 3 and like courtyards, and I got 66 maps. I got like level 77,
Yes!
76, 75, like, and then it's like dungeon, orchard, and I'm like, what? Oh my god, no, you can't do that. And then the next one, and someone I was playing with, okay, here comes dungeon. I'm like, what? Not again. It can't happen again. It was just funny. But
They have such
my
a
map
huge impact
RNG,
on them.
my map RNG is always really bad. So
Yeah.
after that, it was hard.
Something. I think next episode of the podcast, we're going to make a point. No cartographers. We're not going to bring them up. It always leaves a salty taste in everyone's mouth, right, Raiz? I'm kidding.
I love them, so
Grumpy Grandpa Rise.
Do you think they're gonna go
Strikes
poof?
again?
I really think they're going to go poof. I'm predicting that right now. No,
I don't think so.
I think they'll stay.
I think
but
I
just
think
in
they're
a
gonna
lesser
do what
form.
Ziggy said.
just
where
nerf them.
They're gonna yeah, just nerf him.
Less plus levels. I think it'll be the main thing.
So what's to come? What do you think, Ziggy? Everything with Forsaken Masters. I know you're the hype man. Let's hear the hype behind Forsaken Masters.
All right. So we have this new expansion pack coming, guys. It's probably like the most hyped I've ever been for an expansion pack ever. And I've been through a few expansion packs now, like the Diablo ones, the previous Path of Exile ones. Sacrifice of the Vile was pretty good, and I was wondering, that had, like, for a mini expansion pack, it added quite a lot. And this is still being labeled a mini expansion pack, and yet in like 5 months they've put together something I wouldn't expect to see out of like a year's worth of development time. We're getting these randomly spawning masters that generate random quests with tons of different varieties. There's 7 different masters. Then these different masters have crafting benches with different forms of crafting. Then there's hideouts, player housing, all of this stuff. Tons of new items and skills, and tons of sick new microtransactions as well. Man, there's so much going on. So I guess we should probably start. Oh, and the new challenge leagues. The new challenge leagues. Let's start off with the new challenge leagues, I reckon.
Completely forgot.
The new softcore 3-month. There's going to be firstly there's going to be 2 3-month challenge leagues. It's going to be a 6-month development cycle for the next patch. I can't even imagine. Sorry, for the next expansion pack. Can't even imagine what the next expansion pack's going to be like if they're putting 6 months into it this time around. But 2 3-month challenge leagues to tide us through and to sort of keep it, I guess, a bit more broken up instead of the 4 months. Firstly, how do you guys feel about the set of 2 3 months instead of the 4-month challenge leagues, Pohx?
Personally, I really enjoy it. I'm one, I love the game and all, but when I play it for too long, sometimes I just need just a short break, to recap, kind of like what we're doing now, trying not to play just to get excited again. So I think that definitely just, cutting off 1 month shouldn't be too bad, because you already see people, like in this 1 month, players have, I think did they hit 100 or they're right near 100, I think, but the point is, like, people are leveling so quickly. Yeah, there you go. Then they're leveling so quick. I think it's perfectly fine that they just chopped off a month. So I'm really excited for that. What do you think, Rise?
I think the idea is good. I think people are expecting a little bit too much of it, because everyone's always like, why aren't the leagues 3 months? This takes so long. I want the next league already. But this is gonna be the same case. I mean, 2 months in, people are gonna be like, oh my god, this league, it's so long. So I think when it comes to that, people are gonna get disappointed. But overall, the length of the league, I feel, is just a lot better. There's less time. People still are gonna get bored, but I feel there's a lot less time, just overall. And I think it works. I think it's gonna be great, especially if it's very difficult to get that reputation and get what you really want to achieve in the league. Because if you feel that it's a race and you have to try hard to get it, it's going to be a lot more fun than just a stale league. Just a stale league where basically not much is happening. So if it feels like a race, I feel everyone's going to be very, very happy about that.
Now, right now, they've only released one of them. That's Rampage. And Rampage is the standard version of the 3 months. And it seems like the glass cannon type thing. What is it? The more mobs you kill within a certain amount of time frame, the more buffs you get, the more damage you get, and move speed, things like that.
Streaks.
I mean, it's not really Call of Duty. I saw that troll picture on Reddit, which was pretty funny. But I think it's going to be really exciting because we've always had these leagues that's Path of Defense, or CIs, things like that. Now this is your chance. You're going to still need to get some life. Don't get me wrong. But you can invest more into DPS. You want to keep those streaks going. I think it's cool. I personally am still excited to see what the hardcore league is going to be, but I think it's actually a really nice addition to the game. We haven't seen anything like it.
So this is what Chris wrote. This was written in an article about Chris. Chris mentioned there were novas. These can stun enemies, explode all enemies, or even summon spirit weapons to defend you. But one of Chris's favorites is the Cyclone at kill streak 325. If you manage to keep a streak alive for that many enemies, all nearby corpses will explode, creating a cacophony of gore that's just a sight to behold.
Oh man.
So that's the amplifying kill streak. Apparently there's also like an amplifying cast move speed, attack speed bonus as well on top of that, I think, to sort of get that momentum thing going. And there's 5 seconds between each monster to kill, essentially. Someone on Reddit posted that you can sort of like practice by getting a level 1 Blood Rage and 2020 increased or reduced duration. And then it gives you exactly 5 seconds. So if you can keep that buff up, you can keep your Rampage going. I like that idea of practicing with that.
Wow. It just sounds like everybody's going to be farming Ledge even longer now. No, I'm just kidding. Ledge is so linear. There's so much mob density. Oh, it's going to be awesome. I love that place. Docks. It's even better now. So like your farm spots become even more fun than they already are. I like it.
What do you think, Stacey?
I think the Cyclone thing sounds cool.
Now, do that.
Is it tempting enough for you guys to play?
No.
Because you guys all play hardcore pretty much, but not tempting enough?
I would never. I don't
all right,
care what the hardcore league is. It's hardcore. Doesn't matter.
Fair enough.
Wow.
I'll be the different one here. It's damn tempting. It's damn tempting. I already told myself this time I was going to play hardcore this challenge line because I did the last 4 months as the softcore league because I did play Invasion a bit at the start, but I ended up getting into the lockboxes, and the lockboxes are so much fun to gamble on. I love it. So I'm pretty able to switch between the leagues depending on which mechanic seems most fun. But this Rampage, I'm like, damn, that's going to be fun. I just like this tempo, this real push, this thing that pushes you forward, propels you quickly. I really like this idea, so I'm keen to get into that. But I'm really hoping that the hardcore one ends up being announced as being as interesting as that. So there's a bit of competition in my mind. What do you guys reckon? Like, anyone have any ideas of what the hardcore could be, or what would match it for you guys? I guess.
Can't use logout macro. That would be
Oh, here we go.
Can't log out.
Really, Rise? Thought you said you weren't going to be salty.
I love that.
Oh man.
Well, there's Beyond, everybody. It's released. Sorry, Chris, that we spoiled it, but there it is.
Beyond, yes.
Beyond the macros.
I can't imagine. But the name Beyond sort of leads me to believe that there's going to be like some sort of goblin portals you can go into or something. I don't know.
Something extra.
Maybe goblin starts spawning in Path of Exile as well. Who knows? Treasure goblins.
Oh man.
I don't know. Hardcore's always about challenge, so I'm sure it'll be something that's focused on increasing the challenge without too much extra reward, which has usually been the theme so far. But hopefully it's good fun. I'm excited.
I'm not even going to speculate. I'm not even going to speculate. Because you think about it, Nemesis, you can't tell what Nemesis was from it. But Invasion, you could kind of get an idea. So the name, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate because just based off the name. I'm just going to wait for it to come out.
It's completely different than what they've done before, though. Like, completely different because you think about it, and typically every other league was to test a new function in the game in a way. And, like, so this means that basically they're testing if they want to put in Rampage into the full game, or is it just a completely separate thing? Because what are they gonna do at the end of this? Are they gonna put it in the game, or is the community gonna like it? Not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So depending on how people like it, I guess.
Hardcore, this would change hardcore a lot. So
yeah, it's a big
wonder.
thing for the core game, isn't it?
Well, the invaders.
How do you...
Think about Invasion, they're only adding invaders in certain zones, and then Onslaught is really just a freaking map mod now. There's no Onslaught Forever League. So it could go either way.
Onslaught was a test.
A
Onslaught was supposed to be like a test for if they want to actually change it. They changed the life of the mods based on Onslaught, and I think Invasion was just kind of an accident. I mean, at the end, Invasion bosses were fine, but the beginning, I mean, they weren't fine. Let's be honest here. They weren't fine, and then they made them really good and really fun, but it was already too late. I feel so many people quit the game because of that and just went, and so many people would have went, oh, I'm not going to play this. They're putting in invasion bosses, even though they're fine, but they don't know that. So they're salty about the invasion bosses. They're not coming back to the game. So they really did not have an option when it comes to invaders. I think the community can agree that at the end of the invasion, after the nerfs, they were a lot better and a lot of fun too.
True. You know, maybe.
Really...
Go ahead, Stacey.
Oh, I was just going to add to that Invasion at the end was a lot of fun. There's only a couple invaders that were a little bit too overpowered, in my opinion. And a lot of people, like, had tried to get some of my friends back, and I'd be like, no, it's not like it was. Like, they can't just one-shot you. Like, we know their mechanics. They're more, like, balanced, and it's a lot of fun. And they're like, in that regard, I do agree that some people it'd be good to get, like, I don't know, I hope that they keep some of them in the game. And
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
people also have
some
like
zone bosses.
You good?
But people typically have like an unreasonable thing about this, where they think that there's no reward. That was the biggest argument about this. Like they think that there's no reward. But if you're doing maps and you have a mob that can drop a 78 map, which essentially is an exalt, it's like, so this mob that drops an exalt, like let's say 10% of the time, you're actually not gonna kill it because there's no reward. No, if you would have a mob in the game that would have a 10% chance to drop an exalt every single time, you would kill it every single time, regardless of how difficult it is. So I feel the reward is huge.
Oh, I got a Combs Heart drop from Granite Crush. So that's like a perfect
Nice.
example.
Oh.
There you go.
There you go, guys. Kill Granite Crush every time he drops combs.
Every
me,
time.
The most exciting thing I had with the Invasion League is even throughout like all the imbalancing, I still till this day was like my most, I don't know, fun experience I've ever had when I played like a melee using Vol Cyclone in Invasion through maps, because I would like have to Vol Cyclone and like look at every single mob, like which is the invader. Okay, nope, log out. I don't want him. And like it was just so much fun. I don't know. I just had so much fun. You're just walking and you're running a Devourer map and you're just like, okay, all right, I'm prepared. I'm prepared just in case that Devourer can pop up. Or like you run things you know you could die so fast, but it's your fault though for running it. Like you run a GMP map and all of a sudden Judgment Apparatus comes and it's like having 5 Pieties casting at the same time. Or you run like those minus max or those chain maps and you get the turbo goats and all of a sudden the screen is filled with fireballs and it's just, I loved it so much. Maybe it was just me. I had so much fun.
I did.
I love it too.
About the Rampage League, though, a lot of people I think have been talking about that it's going to have a, like, playing Devil's Advocate. I'm really hyped about it, obviously, but playing Devil's Advocate for a lot of people that are feeling this way, it's going to really restrict the type of builds people can play, because it's with something like this is in the game that can give you a big advantage, even if like you can still have fun without taking advantage of it. Playing slower, you always feel like that, it feels bad to not be taking advantage of something like this. So if you're playing a more slow pace or defensive build, you're not going to be able to keep up your rampage ever. Like, do you feel like that's a bad thing for the game? How do you guys feel about like that idea, Pohx?
I really like it though. I'm agreeance of, I really like the way it's designed, because a lot of players say like, oh, go play that in a standard league build because they think it doesn't have enough life or whatnot, or like one-shots mobs. And I feel like they're really catering towards what a lot of people like to play. They want to boost up the clear speed and whatnot. And another thing is, I think it's a good way to practice mapping. And this might sound a bit weird, but I know when you map, there's specific ways to run every map, which way like how, if you do inner first, if you do outer first, which routes you take. And by keeping up your kill streaks, you have 5 seconds between going from mob to mob to mob. And I think that really will show a lot more in people that run their maps efficiently and the people that just go in a circle and they're like, oh, where are those last 40 mobs or something? So, what about yourself, Zeno?
I'm in complete agreement with Rampage. I'm really wondering, you think about the new Forsaken Masters that are coming out. For instance, Haku, he has the ability to chant Wed on, like, we saw a screenshot with Wed on a helmet and Wed on a chest piece. So it's like they're encouraging you to get more damage on gear that you normally can't roll this damage on. Is it partly because of Rampage League, or is it partly because we want more itemization on these pieces? I really like that idea that they're encouraging you to not always just get defenses, that they're adding even more damage to gear. I think it works very well with the Rampage League.
Raz?
It's going to be fun because it's going to be fun. I mean, it's going to be fun because, like, this is what GGG is trying to do. I mean, multi-strike, spell echo, all of these try and speed up the game as much as possible. Not necessarily speed up the actual gameplay, but how your character feels. And I feel this is going to be something that people are just going to look towards to, and getting that kill streak is going to make you forget that, I have to kill 40 mobs to get a level. No, I'm just going to rush towards that. Going to be, everything's going to blow up. So as long as it's balanced, I think it's a great idea. I honestly think it's a great idea.
I just
How
hope
would you
after...
feel if it made it into the core game, Stacey?
Pardon?
I said, how would you feel if it made it into the core game? Like if you were playing in hardcore and this sort of thing transitioned over into hardcore as well?
I think it would be awesome. I think for farming and for mapping, I think it would be really cool.
Well, keep in mind, they usually do the hybrid league now, so there is a chance you guys might just play it in hardcore.
That's right.
That's awesome.
And we always that hybrid 1 week or 2 week, whatever they decide to do.
I'm keen to see people pushing a little bit harder than they would normally would, because that kill streak in the back of their mind, and then having some epic rampage rips as cacophonies of gore go off as they die at the same time.
I love that.
Perfect.
A little too trigger happy.
So let's talk more about Forsaken Masters. Obviously, there's the Rampage and Beyond leagues. Let's talk about the new Forsaken Masters themselves, like all the hype behind them. I mean, I think it's amazing that, hey, 1,500 fusings is quite a bit for a freaking 6-link. But you know what? At the end of the day, the ability to roll your own kind of gear, you know, sometimes people spend more than that trying to get a 6-link. Is this the right direction for the game?
Well, here's my thought on it. And Path of Exile is an ARPG that's built around a lot of RNG. And, you know, we all agree with that. We all know that that's there. But at the end of the day, it's nice knowing that you can farm something and have a goal that you can actually achieve sometimes. So when you're trying to 6-link something manually, you don't know how many it's going to take. It might not ever happen. Like, you hear people using, like, accidentally 6-linking level 17, like, leveling weapons. And then you see people hosting, like, you know, trying to 6-link. They go through, like, thousands of fusings, and you never get it. So be it the price may be, you know, pretty substantial, you have a goal to work towards now. Like, you're like, okay, I can farm, you know, my 78 maps. I can categorize what I'm selling, and, you know, like, I'm putting aside a separate stash for my 6-link. So I really like that. What do you think about it, Ziggy?
Oh, Ziggy. I thought you were going to say Zeno. Tricked me there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think everyone will use it, because I do like that idea that you can potentially get them cheaper, but it is a good way to have that option there to circumvent RNG. What I do really like, though, is the off-color sockets. You can guarantee up to 3 off-color sockets. So just to give a bit of an overview of how it works, you can guarantee up to 3 sockets in any color. You can guarantee a 5-link, 4-link, 3-link, or 6-link, and they each cost, you know, set amounts of currency. So this, like, the ability to guaranteed 3 colors of a socket, so, you know, getting 3 reds on your chevrons or something, for example, but still having that little bit of RNG in there as well. You're circumventing some of the RNG, but the other 3 colors, you know, you could get, say you want only 3 reds, and then all the rest have to be blues, but you roll 3 reds, and then an extra one rolls as a red because RNG is feeling a little bit cranky that day. I like that idea. You can circumventing some of the RNG, and yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty good thing for the game to have that. Like, in terms of pricing, Chris has said that these are priced slightly above or about on par with what it takes on average to get these, or what the expected outcome is. The average could be different based on people's luck, obviously, but the expected outcome is that you will 6-link something in just under 1,500 fusings, and that's what a lot of people, I think, don't realize when they say 1,500 fusings for a 6-link. They're like, that's too expensive, that's too much. But that's like the expected outcome to 6-link something. So
I got a question for Raiz here.
I think it's all right.
So Raiz, what does this mean for your veteran off-color Gucci? You know, spending some extra chromes to get your 3 off colors on your carcass jack. What's this mean?
I mean, I'm like the reverse of streamer RNG, basically. I'm the guy, you know, Grumpy PK is the guy that spends 750 free fusings to get a 5-link, right? So I love it. I think not only is it good because it's less random, while still it's over the average, right? Typically, let's say the 5-link, you need 150 fusing. We can all agree that the average is not 150, about 100, 120 people would say. That's about the average. But what to me is really cool as a person that just likes to grind in PoE is that you always have a goal. That's what keeps me entertained in video games, always having a goal. So if you know for a fact that you're not the luckiest person, you can just keep farming till you get there. And goals in PoE is what keeps me interested. So that's the coolest part about it, just keeping me interested all the time with different stuff.
Now keep in mind, everybody, this is just one of the Forsaken Masters that could change your colors of your sockets or link. There's also one that specifically works on your jewelry. You can finally get that 2% mana leech. You know, if you're lucky enough, it's 1 to 2 is the range. But, you know, finally you can roll that off-piece gear that you can finally... how do I put this? No more lucky exhaust, no more YOLO exhaust. You can get what you're looking for. I really like that. It may not be the most top tier, for instance, maybe 60 life opposed to 80 to 108, you know, but it's still what you're looking for. I think the game has needed something like this. There's too many instances where you YOLO exalt and you get the Thorns God, you know. So I think this is the right direction for the game. You have a say with RNG, but RNG still exists. It's a happy medium for me.
I think so. The overview of this other the other crafting systems is that there's 2 parts of it. So firstly, we already talked about like the socketing and linking and stuff like that, and that's like the guaranteed sort of thing. And that's a pretty static thing, really. Like there's There's not too much range. A 6-link is a 6-link. Like there's no good 6-link or a bad 6-link. But then on the other side of this crafting, there is this adding stats, and there's two parts of this. The first is adding missing stats, and that's like the first intention behind this other crafting system here. So if you find that sick pair of boots, it's got life and tri-resists and armor, but it's missing that move speed, you can add that move speed to it. It's not going to be your 30% move speed, but you can probably add, like 20% move speed to it. And that's like still a really good item, but it's not the top tier item. And that's the idea behind each of this. You can add each of those. And then, or as you said, like your mana leech that your build really needs. So if you really need something, you can put it on there. Or if a piece of gear really needs something, you can put it on there. And then on the other side of this, there is the ability to add off-slot things. As you mentioned earlier, Zeno, you can put weapon elemental damage on a helmet or on a chest piece now. And there's probably going to be a lot of other different off-slot things we can do with the different crafting muscles. That's just one. That's just from Haku. So there's a lot of different things we can see there. I guess, how do you feel about both of these? We'll start off with Rise.
Maybe ask somebody else, because I was focusing on something else. I'm sorry. There's something that I really have to do real fast.
We'll start off with Zeno then.
Okay.
Rewind.
There was cast speed on gloves. Cast speed you normally can't get on gloves. Does that mean you could get it on your chest and helm? Which master does this? Is this the witch? Because in the video, you didn't see that in the teaser. She looked like she did mana and ES. So is that coming from another one? There's an armor master. Is there a weapon master? Is that going to be the duelist? These are all the things that are running through my head. What's the ranger going to be? Is she going to specialize in evasion gear? And most importantly, what is the Scion going to do? I'm predicting gems. Something to do with gems. We don't know what the Scion master is going to do yet, and I cannot wait. I guarantee that's the last one they release too. So I think this is like the step in the right direction. You sacrifice a little bit more defense for those cast speed on gloves. Why? Because it's cast speed on gloves. It's the only way you can get it currently. I think it's amazing.
How do you feel about the system, Stacey? Is it something you'll use, you think?
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting, especially like for gear that you just want one thing and it has everything else that you need. Like when you're trying to balance your resistances and you need like one thing and you can put it on there. I think it's really cool. And then same with like the coloring, like the color things and fusing, and you can still do it the other way if you want to. So I think it's really neat.
Like, with these, what are they called? Forsaken Masters. I can't believe I just dropped the ball on that. But these Forsaken Masters, I guess, is there like sandbox mode now in Path of Exile? You get to build your own home. Am I going to start digging dirt with a pickaxe? No, I'm kidding. I think that's pretty cool that they added that. And the fact that they even mentioned in the new challenge league, one of the challenges is getting the top tier level 8 with each one of them, even though you can only have up to 4 in your home. I think that's really cool. It's achievable. Yeah, it's a grind, but it's achievable.
Right. Personally, one really cool thing that I'm happy with is going on how you were saying, Ziggy, how you don't get the top tier, but you get like a good filler stat in between. And I think it's going to enable so many builds to start doing things earlier than before. Because say you need, that double res life and movement speed, or that tri-res life and movement speed, but it's so expensive on the market. Well, I think this might even influx the market because people know, oh, why would I buy that for this much when I could clearly just add my own stat for cheaper? And I feel like it's really gonna help the market a lot. But more importantly, like stated, it's gonna give builds, like they can just get a temporary piece of gear, put that stat on that they need, and start mapping until they get an upgrade. And I really like that. So what do you think about that, Rise?
I think as long as they keep it so, like the same way I was talking about the cost, where statistically it's a higher cost than it should be. As long as they keep it like that, where you actually have to spend more to get that specific stat, but it's really good on like certain items. As long as they keep it like that, I think it's a really cool idea. They just can't make it too cheap, because this is also what we talked about like on the last podcast, where leveling up you spend your alterations on Flask, or well, you should. And now you have this decision: do I keep these? Do I spend this ridiculous amount of 5 chaos to get this resist that's gonna maybe save my life, or do I keep them for higher levels? So I think it's a really cool concept, and it shouldn't break the economy too much. Maybe it's gonna make the game slightly easier, but probably not.
I think the most exciting thing about this change, for me, is something I saw in another action RPG was when they added a system like this. It really changed the way you look at gear, like gear that drops. Instead of just looking for, oh, this piece of gear is GG, yes, excitement, or this piece of gear is vendor trash. There's now this like in between area of this gear has potential. It's like this is almost good. If I could maybe just add this extra stat here. Like, Path of Exile's already got that in the form of exalts, but it's not something a lot of players take advantage of. This is going to be something I think the vast player base will take advantage of, because not everyone is willing to sink an exalt for the chance of getting some move speed. But when you get those boots now, and you can get that guaranteed move speed, it's like non-move speed boots in the past before. Maybe you're just like, the stats aren't really good enough to sell as non-move speed boots. I'm going to vendor them, like they're not really worth anything. But now it's like these with move speed though, these ones have potential.
Oh yeah.
So I really like that, changing that. The way you look at gear makes the gearing and finding loot in these sorts of games so much more fun. So I'm pretty keen for that side of things.
There's a lot of people who don't. There's a lot of people who don't use the chaos recipe, but most of these masters require 5 chaos for that top tier enchant, if you will. So now more chaos recipes are going to be used. That's my speculation, at least.
Yeah, actually, that's a pretty good point, because Chaos Orbs don't actually do that much in Path of Exile. They're the accepted trade medium, that's why they're so liquid. But apart from Chaos spamming like an item you really want, or mostly maps. I think the biggest thing for them is maps, yeah. Apart from that, they don't actually do all that much. So I feel like this is going to add a huge sink for Chaos Orbs. So that's pretty interesting to see the effects that'll have on.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the item. Like if it's a chest piece, chaosing a chest piece is reasonable, right? Chaosing a belt is reasonable. Chaosing boots, questionable, but still kind of reasonable. I mean, but you wouldn't really chaos spam a wand to get a fizz wand or something like that. Yeah. You really would never do this. So it depends. It depends a lot.
So right here up on my screen, I got the new user interface. There was some QQ on some forums and Reddit. I kind of like it. There's only one critique I have about it, and that's that shop icon. I wish that was like changed slightly, but overall, it's not that bad. I don't understand all the hate associated with this. Is there anybody who is totally for it like me?
Yeah, I like it. I like it just because it's change. It's just change, and because it's change, it's something new. I get to look at a new screen, a new little layout. So I like it. It doesn't bother me whatsoever.
Oh well.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. What about you, Rise?
The hate train. Here it comes.
It's so ugly. It's so ugly. And then like everyone had to spam about the butt cheeks of the naked Templars, and they're like gonna change that, but not really. Then it's gonna come back. I don't know. I don't know why they're changing the UI. I know this is. Some people might say this is kind of a change for the better, and you just can't accept change or something, but I think the current UI is just perfect. Like, I don't think I need a sign saying this is menu and this is shop. Like, I honestly don't need that. I think
some people
the current
do.
one is
Okay.
a lot better.
How about that?
Okay, some people might.
Stacy, what is your opinion on it? I know you use a HUD currently on your stream.
Yeah, I like the old one. I wish they would keep the old one. And I just like the look of it better. I also have a thing on my an overlay on my stream, which my tech support guy already said he can make me a new one, no problem. So that's not the issue. I just like the look of the old one better.
Change is good, people.
Not a huge.
Change is good.
Sometimes. Not always. But it's not going to affect gameplay really. So it's not that relevant.
I think I'm usually someone who's like, everyone's heard us about change. Facebook's changing. Oh my god! I'm like, whatever, change is good. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the new UI. All right, so first, this is the shop button. This is like one of the big controversial parts. The shop button, I can kind of understand. Like, if it helps sell a few more dollars, I can kind of look past that. I really think I like some of what people posted on Reddit, which was kind of like a round queen sort of icon. Still really obvious it's a button, but maybe a little bit less obvious as a shop. I guess I can understand why they want to do that, so people really know there's a shop there and they can buy those microtransactions. I'm okay with that. I can handle that. But the rest of it, I No, it looks like something I would expect to see in kind of a spaceship. It looks like a spaceship UI. It's like that silver
Wow.
kind of color. You've got the energy shield over the bauble as well, and the energy shield plus the silver. I'm like, no, this looks like some. I would expect to see this in like, kind of like, not a nice clean spaceship, but something like, Firefly, kind of like a ratchety old spaceship. But I'm like, this doesn't feel, to me, it doesn't feel old. And the Path of Exile is
Yeah.
like all this old culture and old artifacts and items and stuff like that. I love the bronzy color. You know what? If you probably just made it bronze, I could probably handle it. But yeah, the color especially, I'm not a fan of. Not a fan of.
Ziggy,
I
It
really,
looks like
really like the old
10
type of
different people
old
made
UI.
it. That's the problem for me. It looks like 10. They're like, okay, we're gonna make it gray, and they're like, all right. They slap their fist, they leave, and then, okay, so I made the shop button. I made the menu. Here's the mana globe. The guys of the mana globe and the health globe agreed that there's not gonna be women now. There's gonna be naked men. We love this. We love this. And some guy made the potions. Everyone's like, yay! Let's squeeze this together. Great
wow,
UI.
Rise.
It honestly
I have to
looks.
say,
Ah,
yeah, I have to say, I love the guys at PoE for their design work, but I don't know what's going on here. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry from the bottom of my heart. I have to speak my feelings on this one. It's
Potions look cool, right?
Sure.
the like the potions insets. I actually don't mind that. I actually don't mind that so much.
potions
It's
themselves.
more the
Yeah.
color for me. Yeah.
You know,
It just feels a
Ziggy,
bit Path of Exile.
before you came on
Yeah.
this podcast, Ziggy, everyone's like, he's a yes man. You summarized this entire user interface with the word no. That was it. I'm
There you
impressed.
go.
So before we get into the next segment, let's talk about this comic book over here. It just got released.
Oh yeah.
Here's some
That's
yes
right.
man action coming here. Oh baby.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm happy to spearhead the comic book. I'm assuming you've put the cool cover picture
you
up.
know it. You know it.
So I'm not much of a comic book reader. I've never really read a physical comic book ever. I've read some like online comic strips and stuff like that. And I'm also a chronic text skipper in action RPGs. Like I never read the text or the lore or anything, but I love like the environment of Path of Exile of Raycast. I love like in an action RPG, it's essential for me to have like an awesome place to fight in. You have to feel like you're part of some sort of awesome history, even if I don't really take the time to read that history. But I thought, all right, this is something a little bit different. This is maybe a comic might be a good way for me to learn some of the Path of Exile lore. I was like, I'm not really going to do it in game. I'm too busy killing monsters when I'm in game. So I'll give this a check out. $4. I ended up having a viewer give me some money so I could get the $20 pack as well, which came with the microtransactions. That cone set is pretty rad. Yeah, I loved it. I loved the comic. I've never read comics before, and I read this, and I was like, damn, this is such a good way to absorb some Path of Exile lore. I had a really good time with it. I got several nerd chills through it, and that's probably the biggest endorsement I can give it. There's like times where like the Karui are getting up to battle, and they're like on top of the hill, charge, and it's like you're like, oh yeah, that's good. It was really good, and I love when they show the uniques from the game in it. When Comb is charging into battle, wielding his Comb's primacy. And I love seeing that, so I hope we see a lot more of that. And that's sort of just like sick fan service, I guess, is seeing the uniques in the comic. So I will definitely be picking up the next issue. It was badass. Any of you guys read it as well? Have you guys checked it out?
I want to get it. I own the first ever Teen Titans, comic book. I have a bunch of comic book collections. I just haven't gotten it yet, and I don't know why I haven't. Maybe because I can't physically hold it, and I haven't got it here yet. I don't know. I know you could get it shipped and whatnot. I've even had some people come to my stream and said they bought it for the microtransactions, which in my mind is the wrong attitude to have. But I think it's something I'm going to have to get into. The more they release, if they release more, that is. I think it's cool. Why not? I mean, yes, man,
I
right?
think they did say they were doing hard copies at some point.
I think if I were to purchase it and like say I'm taking like a short little break from PoE and I see like a new section of the comic comes out, I'm pretty sure like after reading the comment, seeing the uniques in action, like being able to like list like, oh man, like he's using this, I'm like, oh, I need to go play PoE. Like I'm just So I'm really excited for it. I want to pick it up. After what Ziggy said, now I'm like pretty sold that I'm just gonna buy this and read it. 'Cause I'm What about you, Stacy? What do you think?
I actually didn't really know about it, so
Honesty.
Oh. Now you
Yeah,
do. Now you do.
Yeah, from what we said though, like what do you think about it? Like being able to see the uniques in a comic book, being able to like label it like that's Combs, that's etc. etc.
I think it'd be interesting, because I don't really know any Path of Exile lore at all. I don't pay any attention to it. So I think I would definitely read it. I think it's a good way to get people into the game.
I mean, let's be real. Comic books aren't for everyone. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
I would still read it, I would.
Announced it, though. Kind of came out of the blue.
Yeah, but I think it's a great idea. I mean, PoE actually has like a really, really good lore. It's so difficult to get into it because you actually have to research it. You can barely find it in game, but it's just such a cool thing they did because it's completely new. It's just something completely new, and you get interested in this. You research more. You wait for the next one. I think it's really cool. And the characters. I mean, I'm a huge lore fan, but PoE never really captured me when it came to that. But reading about all of this stuff is honestly really cool.
Yeah, I think the only critique I have to give is like more voicing the opinions of the general consensus is that it was a bit short for like the four. I don't really feel like the $4 price tag was all that wrong, but it was 26 pages, but 2 pages of cover, so it's like 24 pages long or 23 pages long. So it was over pretty quickly. I guess that's a sign of it being good, but oh, it's already finished. But yeah, it did feel a little bit short, so. Just keep that in mind if you're thinking about picking it up.
All right, so comics. What was the biggest thing that changed that everybody wants to sit down and play with Ziggy right now? Let's think about that. Of all the changes.
For me, it was the crafting. Though I think we have to talk about the hideouts as well.
Really?
So each master has a specific hideout, because this is something that like blows my mind that this is coming to Path of Exile. I never expected this. But each master has tied to them a specific hideout. So there's 7 different houses your Path of Exile character can get, and you select your primary master, and then you can have your specific hideout based on them. They've showed some of the hideouts in some of the teaser videos and images so far, and they look pretty cool. They're all themed to the masters. Haku's is kind of like this like battlefield encampment, and the Lady of Bones, I can't remember her name, is like kind of. Katarina, that's the one, is all ghoulish and stuff like that. I think this, and like on top of this, you can I don't know how exactly, but you can unlock and purchase probably with the favor system. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but you can get different like furniture and stuff, like little doodads to place around in your thing, in addition to having like a place to hang out with your stash tabs and stuff like that, and also do your crafting with 4 of the different masters. I don't know, what do you guys think about the addition of this? Do you think it's going to make a difference to the game?
Definitely. As you said, there's just so many little things that matter. Like, as you see right now, when people go crafting, they have their special places that they go, whether it's like Coast or Eternal Laboratory. Now they're going to have like their own hideout. Like, yeah, like this is why I can craft so well. Like, you see these 100 alterations. This is like worth 1,000 if you have this master sitting right here. And like, you're going to see the funniest things happening. But I really like that. And to me, the most excited thing, I'm super excited for this. I think Rise might even be too, is just having a new incentive to grind for something else as well. Like, of course, if you're racing, your endgame goal is level 100. But if you want to take a little side, like say you don't have everything, we don't know exactly how long it's going to take to grind this reputation, but, having the huge amount of masters, I'm just so excited. Like, it's something else to do at the same time. Like, say you want to take a little break, you want to, not go to, your basic acts. You can go to like your house and be like, okay, I'm going to sell from my house, do some transactions, and then interact with the chat, and like, okay. And I don't know. I'm just super excited, man. I love change. So what do you think, Zeno?
From a business perspective, you have to keep people interested in your game. What better way to do it than add something entirely different from the game itself to keep people interested in? There are times when you just don't want to grind anymore, and you're just sitting around in town talking with your friends, and you're like, hey, I'm going to work on my house while I'm just BSing and mumble. I think this is freaking fun. It's just, it's take it as it is. It's fun. It's just a whole new way to play the game. I like it.
It's counterbalance. It's like, we're giving you Rampage so you can do everything a lot quicker now, but you can also take some time off if you want, you know?
But don't
They just
leave the
balance
game.
the game around that. You level up too quick, why don't you build a house now? You like that? You do. So it's pretty good.
Oh, you're done with one? Here's 6 others to build. So let's talk about the passive skill tree. I think this is what I was hinting at.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I want to hear if Stacey's gonna be doing any interior decorating in the. Are you planning any interior decorating action on stream, Stacey?
I'm excited about it, but I'm gonna try and level up like the masters as fast as possible, and try and get the challenges as fast as possible. That's what I'm really excited about. And as soon as the league starts, I want to see the challenges and I want to go for that. So it won't be interior decorating. Maybe when that's over. But at first, it's going to be leveling up these masters. Yeah.
You're saying that now.
Fair enough.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
Too hardcore, Stacey. Too hardcore. I'll be playing interior decorator. I'm sure. I'll also decide an hour each day for interior decoration. But I'm not sure yet. Have they announced whether I may have missed something, but have they announced whether you'll be able to have like your guild hang out in it or something like that? Because I think that's like essential, is having other people be able to share that space with you.
I want to assume
it hasn't really been clear.
If someone's in your party, they can go there. It'd be pretty crazy if someone's in Cutthroat and they get to go to your house and kill you in it. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, I'm sure it'd be a non-PvP zone.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. I thought, like, for instance, like the Katarina looks like it's in Fellshrine-ish area. So is it an attachment of Fellshrine?
Coolest thing ever.
You know, that's what I want to know. We don't know enough to say those kind of things.
Yeah. Just speculating at the moment. I hope that is the case, though, that your guild can kind of, like, maybe you can designate one person's place as the guild hangout, and then, you know, you have your guild stash in there and everything. It's just like having like kind of a physical space for your guild, like a guild hall, I think would probably be a pretty good thing for guilds in Path of Exile in general. Would foster a little bit more of a sense of community, because talking to people in guild chat is good, like seeing the names in there, but you can't really see who's in guild chat. There's no like chat list or anything like that, but being able to actually see people with their all actions on and everyone's standing there like, oh hey, Pohx is here, I can see him there with his fiery dog and everything. I don't know. Whatever is your favorite microtransaction, Pohx.
Pohx has a bunny, okay? He has a rabbit.
I do have a rabbit.
It's a bunny.
You're not going to show it now?
Rabbit?
I mean, if you want. So I named him Mr. Whiskers. It's my microtransaction game.
Oh,
actually.
God. Oh.
I made it in 1990.
It's cute.
And
I gotta go to the toilet real quick.
So Ziggy, I was hinting earlier about the passive skill tree, not the houses. That's what I want to tinker with. I'm pretty sure. Rise, you on the same boat? Please tell me you are.
Let's build houses.
One day we'll get Rise to say yes. One day.
Never.
All right, so here it is, the passive skill tree. Now, this is just one really big blown up image. Somebody on, I believe it was Reddit, was nice enough to actually enhance this and speculate at what each one is. Let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about it. Here, I'll give you the link so you guys can follow along in Skype. Let's start at the top left.
This image is pretty good effort, pretty amazing effort here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let me bring this thing up full screen for myself. This thing is insane.
Everybody at home.
Oh man.
If you guys want to link it in chat for me so they can play along at home too.
Sure, I'll link it.
So like I don't even know where to begin with this thing, but I guess let's talk about the overall shape of it to begin with.
Sure.
We have this is what they've reported so far, is pretty big witch changes. That's evident, like that's obvious. The witch start area changed, and the upper section of the witch, which is what I was hoping to see most changed, has been overhauled dramatically. Shadow start area and shadow general area has been changed quite a bit too. And what not pictured in the image, it is the outer ranger area, which is honestly the section I'm most hyped about.
All the way
but
down
that has been changed as well. They've said, but no images of that just yet.
So the witch tree itself, it looks like everything is so efficient. Now, Rise, you had a problem, like, efficiency could be deceiving. You want to explain why?
Well, it's just because the same way the Marauder looks, where you look at the Marauder tree and you're like, oh my goodness, that's so many life nodes, just so much. And then you try and travel there, and it's like, 6, 7, 8 nodes to travel there. So it's quite deceiving, but I like this. I like going towards this. It might make it so people are gonna travel less through the tree, and we're gonna see more character specific builds. But
Mhm.
I think this is a step forward.
Some notable things here is that notice that they now put pure elemental damage here in the witch tree by elemental dominion. There's no longer just specific cold, lightning, lightning, lightning. They put those elemental ones in there to save you. I believe they're saving you a point by going that way. They've also added a bunch of new, we have no idea what the heck they are. Are these the new the flask effect nodes? They're no longer over here. As well as some big shield nodes. The witch shield cluster wasn't always the most efficient. And the thing I'm most excited for in the witch tree is there's more than one way to get up to the top of the tree. And they also moved all the elemental nodes up there. So that way, if you're playing a witch and you're playing a wander, for example, you don't feel like I can only go to the right, that's it. There's other options available to you now. Well, I guess you still can only go to the right as a wander with the ES nodes. Are these going to be like flat ES nodes? Who knows? It's a bunch of good things.
About the flask effect nodes, that's a pretty big one, isn't it? Like,
oh yeah.
I think they're still in the tree. What I think is going to happen is they're spread out around Scion somewhere. I imagine they're not going to be clustered together. I imagine there's going to be like the 3 nodes still, but maybe split in different areas around the Scion. So you have to travel a little bit if you want to get all of them, but it's feasible for a character traveling through that area to pick up 1 or 2. I expect to see something like that. I really hope they're still in the tree because I love the flask effect nodes. They're sick. What do you guys think?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the flask effect nodes are definitely like something that was so cool because it helps, it contributes to everything you do, to your life, to your mana, to your magic finding, to your granites, to your jades, to your topaz and your ruby. It definitely goes to everything, and I think they're very underused. I know we had the whole conversation about it before, but what do you think, Rise?
I think they listened to the feedback of the podcast and moved them to the middle. Definitely.
Oh, baby.
Fair enough. Some other
we'll take credit for it.
Some other notable things here is they added the life and mana hybrid nodes that used to be down here by Grave Intentions. They moved those over. They moved over a lot of things. They split up the curse. Now, keep in mind, this whole tree is speculation. This is someone enhancing and assuming. This is by no means the actual tree. But Hexmaster is speculated to be down here, but Whispers of Doom is all the way up here. So they separated the curse nodes.
They're separate notables now, rather than keystones, it looks like.
And then Inner Force got moved all the way down. There's a new life and mana node, maybe, somewhere in Scion. But yeah, there's new elemental damage nodes in Inner Force. It's all near this energy shield. Is this going to become even more efficient than it once was cutting through? Also, there's a new way to travel through Witch. There's this nothing but int highway, but it's actually more efficient than the old highway that you're used to. There's just tons of new things. And it seems that they even added a new Chaos Wheel. What's this mean for the Poison Trapper, Rise? It's all the way to the east.
Oh, man.
It seems a lot more efficient. I mean, if they're doing it the way you travel outside of the tree, if they're doing it like that when it comes to the Ranger and Shadow, I think it's going to be a lot more efficient. And I mean, it's pretty cool because every build travels through the middle. So I feel this is going to be a big change.
Oh, yeah.
But it might make it a lot less efficient to travel through the Scion, and it might make Scion a little bit worse than the other ones, or a little bit better. So we'll see.
Something
I want to talk about.
Go ahead, Ziggy.
I want to talk about an overall. Thanks. I want to talk about an overall sort of thematic change for the tree. There's 2 things that Chris mentioned happen, and you can see this in the image. The first is that pretty much every wheel, I think every wheel actually has a notable now. So no more sad little clusters of no notables. And then a lot of the major wheels are split into 2 different directions. You have an option of getting more by getting all of it, or getting more by going one of the longer routes, or by taking a shorter route, a shortest, like more efficient route to get to a notable. So you can see like on the top ones, there's like a lot of different splits, and some of them kind of like have like fused splits. It looks like there's lines between them and things like that. But yeah, kind of like changing the way those circles work quite a bit. How do you guys feel about both of those changes? Stacey, what do you like the idea of the notables and the changes to that sort of thing?
I'm really confused. A skill tree is not something that I'm really familiar with.
Just looks cooler, at least.
It looks cool. The pathing looks better. Like, I race a lot as witch, so I'm liking the pathing.
Everything just
Yeah.
seems
Other
so
than
much more efficient. It really does.
I'm so excited. I'm like sweating over here because I'm looking at it, trying to make a build out of it, and it's just, oh my! There's just so much stuff now. It's so cool, and
Maybe.
like going.
Oh, sorry, Pox. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Pox.
I'm sorry, I got really distracted by that. Sorry. So it's just like, I don't know. Like, I remember one main thing, like one huge thing I'm noting is like right at the start of Witch. I remember a lot of people would like pick Witch because like way back when, because you could put 1 point in and get 40% mono regen right at the start. But they don't have that now. Now they have the spell power and looks like the energy shield. So that changed completely, opposed to the Shadow Star being completely changed. It's just, oh my god! It's just there's so much stuff now. It's not like. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm sorry to
What were you
interrupt
saying,
there, Pox.
Latino?
It
No, it's okay.
looks that they combined a lot of the dagger nodes. They combined a lot of the dagger nodes, and I'm praying to God, is this the buff that Claws needed? Like, look at this arc, and by Spirit Raker, maybe they combined them all. And then over here are these new crit nodes for Claws? Can Claws be just as efficient as daggers? Like, is this a chance?
I think you're being a little bit hopeful.
Yeah, I am, but that's okay.
That is okay.
But they also moved Gemini over. It's not in the Witch Tree, and then Gemini might actually be a good dual wield node now. Before it was like, hey, there it is. Now it's in an actual reasonable spot. Go dual wield daggers or claws as a shadow, and there's a wheel here. And then they also moved all the way up in the what used to be in the Templar trees, now in the top of the Witch Tree, is Dauntless Zeal, it looks like. So now you going like CI dual wield might actually be an option, more of a viable option rather. Things like that you haven't thought of might be coming out. Or like Static Blows got moved over, and as did what is it called? Arcing Blows now has a notable with 2 other nodes before it. Like, I'm really just excited. I want to sit down for a week and plan out builds. I think that's what everyone wants to do.
One crazy thing that I'm noticing is like how many hybrid life and mana nodes there are now.
Oh my god.
And like if you look at Written in Blood by Shadow, you have 3 life and hybrid nodes there. Witch has a life and hybrid node. Then they moved the life and hybrid by the right side connecting the Scion, but they put another one supposedly over by the left where Elemental Equilibrium is. And then one big thing that I know we were talking about is about everyone going auras and whatnot. And they did at least, they moved influence to the opposite side. But at the same time, it's still kind of in a good position because it's right next to a life wheel. So I think it's still okay. Kind of, I'm just trying to think of how to map it out. But what do you think, Rise? Since I know we were on the bandwagon of auras being ridiculous.
It looks okay. It looks like auras are something that maybe is gonna cater a little bit more to like CI builds. It's really weird, to be honest. Now that I look at it, it's really weird. And also the way they just set out the witch skill tree, where it kind of seems efficient but kind of not. I mean, you can get out for 2 ES nodes and then pick up like some mana and then get deep wisdom, and you move on to like blast radius. It's so weird because stuff like that doesn't really synergize well. You typically would take both of these. So it's really weird. The more I look at it, the more weird it is, but maybe it is a good change. But it does seem like it's gonna separate the trees a lot more, where you're gonna, if you're picking a witch, you're gonna spend 40 points on a witch skill tree. If you're picking a shadow, you're gonna spend 40 points there. So I'm really interested, just because of the Eldritch Battery and like all of these life and mana nodes, if MOM is still where it was before, and if you still have to travel that many nodes to get there. Very, very interesting. I like it.
Do you like that sort of theming of the classes? Like making it so, Shadow is spending more time in Shadow, Witch is spending more time in Witch?
I
personally do.
I think it's a cool idea. Yeah.
It's a reason to choose that class over another one, in my opinion.
Yes, exactly. Because I remember what people used to do really quickly, really fast, is people would say, "Oh, well, you should play Shadow because it has a better early game or something." But now you can clearly see how much an advantage one class would have over another.
Yeah.
So, but what were you saying, Ziggy?
I think like indirectly makes Scion more useful as well, because Scion kind of went from being like the most used class just because she was so efficient and everything to being, you know, kind of lesser used. And I think Scion's role should be that niche spanning the tree, and if making like the start classes really efficient for their specifically themed builds, so making Shadow like really efficient for crit spellcasting and all that, like crit daggers and all that, and Witch really efficient for just like normal spellcasting. Making all that happen sort of indirectly makes Scion more a better choice for, especially if it takes more points to leave areas like Marauder does. If Witch and Shadow are the same now, it makes Scion a little bit more attractive for those kind of more niche builds. So I like that a lot.
Something to consider now with the passive tree changes. They mentioned that they've overhauled some underused and unplayed gems. Is there anybody out there who's thinking of a gem that they've been dying to make a build for, but every time they think of the gem, they're like, it's just not gonna work? Like, Stacy, do you have a default gem you really want to play that build, but it's just not happening?
I can't think of anything. But there's so many gems. The other day I had like 500 gems that I just took out of my stash because they're all gems that I don't use. I don't even. Some of them I'm like, I don't even know what this does.
You're going
and
to
I'm like
regret
trying
that.
to read it and figure it out. Yeah, I had like 6 or 7 pages of gems. It was crazy, and I'm like, I don't know what these gems even do. Why do I have them? Like, I don't think they're used very often.
Let's see, honestly, got truth right there. All right,
Personally, sorry, go on.
Pohx, I want to hear.
I was gonna say, personally, like two big gems I want to bring up. Not even because of damage effectiveness, just because of the way you have to utilize them, would be like Ice Nova and Sweep, which kind of like, sure, of course, Ice Nova's damage is not, we all know, like, it's great early game, falls off pretty hard. Sweep you can still make work. Like, Sweep is an okay skill. The problem though is you have to be surrounded. Like, to make use of the full effectiveness, you need to be in the center of attention of these mobs. I mean, you could do it from the side and whatnot, but then at that point you might as well just use like a skill that, you know, is a projectile or something that can just shoot out. So I really do feel like, yeah, exactly, something like that. So I feel like, you know, there should be a benefit maybe of being surrounded, you know, with these skills. But of course, you know, I just want to see if they have any thoughts on altering these skills a bit, though. What do you think, Rise?
I think it's really, it all depends. It all very much depends. I mean, there's a very thin line when it comes to balancing stuff like this, because some skills are just mechanically bad or very good, like DD, mechanically incredibly strong, regardless what you do to it, percent ridiculous. Sweep, mechanically, it's a really bad skill, but what do we do with it? Do we buff the AoE so it can compare to other builds, or do we increase the damage so maybe then it becomes this ridiculous skill where it just one-shots everything? I'm interested. I'm liking the fact that they said they're gonna reduce the mana cost of a lot of things. I think that's gonna play a pretty big role when it comes to many skills, because some builds are just forced to get that mana, like Dumb Blow or Elemental Hit. Those are really difficult skills to use, and even though they could work, you have to invest so much into sustaining them that it's just never worth it. Unless you break it with something like a Soul Taker, but that doesn't always
it's
apply.
like Eldritch Battery or Blood Magic at the moment. Everything's like Eldritch Battery or Blood Magic. I really hope that mana change. I'm really excited for that mana change, especially for bow builds, because there's nothing quite like the brutalism of playing a bow ranger and those mana issues while leveling and even early end game. You just have to get those Blood Magic gems straight away or rush Eldritch Battery. So I'm really hoping for both like some mana or mana regen nodes. All those hybrid life mana nodes got me excited. But the reducing of mana costs across the board is very, very exciting change. I'm glad they announced that.
Well, her bow builds was when Mana Leech got hit with the Life Leech nerf. Like, that's what really hurt it. Now you're like stuck with either regen or...
Yeah.
Some Elemental Hit is one of those gems where it's so cool. You read it and you get so excited, and you have no idea how it got nerfed by 33% damage overall. You had no idea that the mana cost just became unbearable. But the quality is so good, everything about it. I'm really hoping Elemental Hit is on that list. That is one. Or maybe skills that you don't see very often, like Conversion Trap. Shock Nova. Like, Shock Nova is a support gem that's not an actual support gem, but it's used as a support type active gem. Yeah, I would love them. Just kill the dead zone. Let's just give a Shock Nova without a dead zone. Something like that.
It would basically work like my current build, Lightning Warp, where it does a lot of damage, but sometimes it does very little, so the clear speed becomes very inconsistent, which might be fun, and it might not be fun. It would be really cool with Righteous Fire if they keep it the way it is. Just skills like that, just pure AoE is really fun, but also keep it active, because some people say, you know, Righteous Fire, Snooze Bond and all that, just people fall asleep because you don't have to do anything. With this change, you can utilize multiple skills and make it work.
Is there any other gems you think should be on the list? Ziggy? Stacey?
I played a Shockwave character, Shockwave Totem character the other day. Have you made yours yet, Raiz? You said you were going to make one, I think, didn't you?
I haven't made one yet, but like the way one of my mods showed it to me. Oh damn! It's nobody's ever gonna play with you. Let's start with that. Nobody will like you. You're gonna be the Shockwave
pretty much
guy.
ungroupable. You know what?
Yeah, one
group.
group.
It was better
But
than I
it's
thought it would be.
so strong. Exactly, it's so strong.
Yeah.
Like the name of the guy that I'm saying is Ram. He basically made a build around it using Dune and getting strength and scaling it that way, and also with cast speed, so that you can have that really good clear speed. Even though it's a totem build, you know, typically with totem builds you waste a lot of time just placing down the totem. With this build, he has so much cast speed that it's pretty much instant. And I mean, they two-shot everything that I saw so far. I went into a map with him and he was just wrecking I didn't even have to do anything. He was killing everything. So
Sick fun solo
it's
build,
really
yeah.
cool for solo play, yeah, and really fun. A really different look at the game, and just knockback is something that people really like, but you can't really use. And here, if you're a solo player, you're gonna use it. It's the same reason why people don't use Heavy Strike anymore. People used to use Heavy Strike, but everyone's like, don't use Heavy Strike.
Right.
Knockback,
Double
I don't like
instead.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knockback's
So-
just, it causes so many problems with otherwise cool things. Like, I guess it's okay if the I'm okay with some skills being like only solo skills, but I guess if they wanted to make Shockwave Totem more groupable and more like popular, I think replacing the knockback with like a slight stun threshold reduction might be the way to go. So then it's still got that sort of theming of this Shockwave, you know, like stunning the mobs, but not that really frustrating knockback. And that's actually really good for a party, is like having like dual, you know, fast cast speed, Shockwave Totems, like stunning things a lot. I think that's really defensive, and that's kind of suits the thing.
What if someone made a unique that makes it so you can no longer knock back, and then have some
Oh,
other
that'd be-
positive,
I would play a Shockwave build if they introduced
or
that.
Heavy Strike, or whatever you want. Proj weak, like when I play my Incinerator and I use added Chaos, and I'm like, I want to boost the damage of everything, so I'll use Projectile Weakness, and they're knocked back and they're not in the shotgun anymore. Things like that drive me crazy.
Yeah.
So that'd be really cool if they release some sort of ring or neck or something.
That's a really smart idea. You know, I never would have thought about that. And that's exactly it. Like, the uniques that a lot of people think don't do anything, I'm pretty sure most people are looking at it be like, you don't knock a target. Like, what? Who uses knockback?
Who cares?
And it's
Yeah.
just, it goes to show, like, it's
Actually,
like,
it's-
you can, yeah.
That's,
Were we saying
that's
the
so
rise?
good. Just something like that would be so good when you think about it. Like, for
Yeah.
instance, why don't people play cold spells? It's not necessarily, I mean, it's for sure not because it makes the group really safe when you pro-live the entire thing and everything for 3 screens is frozen. People don't play because ignite builds are too powerful, and if you shatter a mob, no ignite, no pro-live. So unique that would remove the status ailment, so that when you use cold spells, you wouldn't actually freeze mobs, would maybe allow people to boost the damage of frost spells and play it that way in a group efficiently, and nobody's gonna go, oh dude, you can't be in the group because you're reducing the damage the same way knockback works. I think a unique like that would be cool. It looks counterproductive, but it's actually gonna help out, so something like that is pretty cool.
I like those sorts of uniques. That's exciting. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh man. So gems overall, there's a lot of ones that get hate. So you guys mentioned sweep. I'm going to defend sweep here. I used to hate it, but did you know cleave has the same damage effectiveness? Granted, you could use cleave with a one-hander, has the same damage effectiveness, but sweep goes 360 and cleave is only a cone in front of you. And you know, if you try a two-handed cleave build, you might as well just go sweep. Why not?
But there's a downside. Sweep animation locks you for a long time. Like, you're stuck in that. Whereas cleave, you can like walk around and be like, slap, slap. But sweep, like, you're just sitting there like, slow mo. Like, I can like count the seconds my character is spinning this weapon. So,
Can you make that sound effect again, Pohx? For sweep?
I don't know, is it that? I don't
Yeah, it was
know.
something like
Extend that 10 times, and it's the sweep sound.
Oh man. So
I think
go ahead, Ziggy.
I was gonna say Ice Shot's another one that I'd like to see a little bit of love. It's got so much CC potential, but it's just so hard to make it actually feel like it does anything.
It's the
And
man.
it hits hard, like it's a hard hitting skill. I don't know what's wrong with it. That's the thing. I can't
Is it
wrap my mind around what's wrong with it. But it might just be that bow characters in general are weak, but I can never make Ice Shot feel good, even though it hits hard, has good CC. What's the problem?
You
I
need
don't know.
Pierce, because when you hit with Ice Shot with Pierce, the cone will still apply, and then it'll pierce through and make another cone. Pierce is the salvation of Ice Shot, and then use Val Burning Arrow with it too, and that has the same effect. If you pierce with Val Burning Arrow, it'll still explode and hit the next target and explode.
Oh, sick.
So Pierce
Chain
is
nukes. I like it.
its best friend, and then use like Frenzy or something single target. So let's talk about these Grandmaster character creation map. The new supporter pack.
Oh, that's right. So, I guess you wanna hype it up. Who wants to hype it up? Zeno or Ziggy? For people who don't know, or Oscar.
Oscar's like, oh,
got
I'm here,
this.
man. Let's do this.
I don't know too much about it, so I'd rather you take it off. I don't want to lead anyone on with misinformation, Ziggy. So I'd rather you take it off.
Alrighty, I got it. I got the overview. So, Grandmaster Map, $500 supporter pack. New supporter packs were announced. Firstly, they look rad. Check them out. Especially I have to mention the armor sets in each of them is like sick. Like, this is the only time I've ever seen like all the supporter packs, and every single one of the armor packs I want like all of them. So they look really rad. But with the $500 one, there is a new sort of thing. Rather than designing unique or designing a monster for the game, you now have the option of having one of your exiles and all your microtransactions and it sounds like skills and stuff like that, all your skill setups and everything, transported into a new unique map that will be this Hall of Grandmasters or this Grandmaster Gauntlet or something like that, where essentially players will have to fight through a series of, however many of these exiles imported into this map. So you can have your signature character, your coolest looking character, or your most cheesy PvP build imported into this map, and that's kind of the draw there. Immortalize one of your characters forever in this unique. So we're going to talk about, I guess, what character we'd like to have put into this map, I guess, or what do we expect from this sort of map. All right, Pohx.
All right.
What do you got, man?
I've got two theories here. Now, the first thing I want to state is that crit will dominate this. That's number one. So the first thing I want to say is I'm pretty sure that I would poop my pants if I opened a door and got Tri-Ellie discharged in the face, got hit with all three status alignments or ailments, was burned, frozen, chilled, shocked, and like I would just be like, what just happened? So what about you, Raiz? What do you think?
Cast on death, discharge 1.6k billion DPS.
It's gonna be tuned.
I'd make like 5 of those. Somebody make this and then tell me if you can actually do it. I'm totally gonna do it. Like, it's gonna be too much fun. I wonder what the payoff is.
I guarantee we're gonna see somebody who's gonna spend $500, walk in there on a naked Templar with probably like the dumpiest looking tatters on, tattered clothing on, like level 1, and they're just gonna go fall right over. I guarantee we're gonna see one of those. But personally, if I were to do this map, I want like some sort of like annoying cold snapper, like the cold snapper I'm playing now, where you are not moving unless you have a remove freeze flask or a sapphire flask. Underused flask, you got to bring it to this map. I would like that.
What sort of character would you like to see in there, Stacey? Or put in if you had the pack, what sort of character would you make, or microtransactions would you use?
No idea. Didn't use Righteous Fire. Everybody picks on me so much about Righteous Fire, and that's really what I've done a lot lately.
Nothing wrong with the Stacy Righteous Fire character in there.
Well,
Hope they would see you and just start snapshotting and you just kill them instantly. Easy. Like,
You'd have
oh,
to
I gotta
snapshot,
That's
yeah.
the drawback. Super OP, but your character has to go through the snapshotting animations first.
You said you played a crit trapper. Like, I think crit trappers would be a terror in there. Like cold snap trap, shock nova trap. If you're in there with a party, have fun, because
You
Fire
step on a bear trap, get locked for 20 seconds from a crit.
the current exiles in the game don't have LE Pro If. If you go in there with a party, ooh, yeah.
Summoner? Summoner,
Like
oh my
laughing at any
gosh.
party members who just got discharged or something, then
A
probably
real
burn
summoner?
gets ya.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
so
crazy.
I think it's pretty clear they're going to do some sort of balancing pass for this. But like since I've done the unique design process, there's a lot of back and forth that happens for designing unique. I expect the same sort of process will happen here. It'd be like, all right, this is my character I want in here. How can we do this? And they're like, all right, well, we'll take the look of it and everything, and then you have these skills you want to use. Let's rebalance it around that. So basically, you're an EK Arctic Armor Mind Over Matter character. All right, we can do that, but tune these few things here, or maybe we won't make you use Cast on Death Discharge that does 1.6 billion damage. Maybe we'll tone that down just a little bit. Maybe it'll do 3k
As long as
damage.
Neon is balancing it, nobody's gonna do this map, so it's okay.
I want to
Yeah.
see somebody out there who's spending $500. Can you guys make a cast on death portal just to troll the hell out of everyone and freak them out? They're like, portal appeared. What's coming through it? I think it would be hilarious. I want to see some trolly
Just
characters
leaves
in
the map.
Portal gem, portals everywhere.
Portals appear and you accidentally click it and leave the map. Rip my portals.
Actually, on top of what Zeno said, I used to do this to confuse people. You can put portal on a trap. Yeah, you can trap a portal gem and start throwing it, and it won't go off until it's activated. So you can literally trap like a portal and then literally just chuck it in 3 different locations, and then all of a sudden you'll see a portal like whoop whoop whoop, and everyone's like, "What's happening?" It's so great. So I think they should
Portal
have exiles
trapper.
like that. They
Yes.
throw portal trappers at you, and if you misclick, you go out and you can't come back in. You're done. That's it.
Oh, I love it.
So
I
good.
love it. Pox, everybody.
that.
The guy who's brought you Enduring Cry trap and now Portal trap.
The portal trapper.
That would be good. Because
The
my
Enduring
lightning
Cry
warp
portal
character would
trapper.
never go out. Because I would right click and lightning warp everywhere, so I would be safe. And just farm that map, get level 100. I like that.
Some of the people are bringing up really good ideas here in chat. A character that's solely annoying you with Frost Wall. Like, you're being trapped inside this Frost Wall. That you have to utilize Lightning Warp or Smoke Mine or something to get out of there. That would be just terror mode. Like, if you're in hardcore, you're not touching this map right away. You're just not.
Full shockwave totem, 5 of those. You're just like bouncing everywhere. Like,
Bouncing.
what am I supposed to do? Please, somebody throw me a portal gem so I can get out of this map. That would
I
be
think
good.
I think there's gonna
I think
be
we
some
need to
really
give
fun
Gouda
stuff.
$1,000 so that he can put both his minus 200% move speed character in. That just slowly
This is like-
cyclones towards you, like takes 10 minutes to get to you. You can just like walk around it, and then is plus 300% or 400% positive move speed character that you just can't catch. Just desyncing everything, just moving at the speed of desync. I would like to see both of those characters.
see
in there. As
Gouda's
a duo,
character.
preferably.
You see Gouda's character slowly cycling towards you, and you're like, well, there's Gouda. Please tell me you guys saw that.
that. Bouncing off the walls.
Oh, man.
Oh god.
Love
We
it.
need to have that happen. Someone give that man some money. I want to see that in there.
Well, he did make the curse reflection gloves. I'm pretty sure he'll put that character in that map. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I think he can do it. I'd like to see that. It like casts a lightning whoop, and then you're like, well, I got 20 minutes to prepare for this lightning whoop. I guess I'll go make some lunch or something.
And then you're like,
So
what
good.
is that? And he dies.
I think this map is going to be a complete terror, and I'm so excited to
I
even
think
try it
so.
out to die over and over and over again. You like play in softcore, get your level up with no experience, and go in that map and just have fun. I think that's the best way to approach this in the beginning until some sort of wiki gets made on it. I think that's the best approach for this map.
What if you see a guy?
Also,
I was gonna say curse reflection punishment, and you see like reflect people walking around, getting one shot by themselves or something. I'm really curious for that.
there's so much tuning involved in this map. I don't even know how they're going to manage it. It's just like seems like a
It's an
coding
ambitious
nightmare.
project.
Yes.
Yeah.
What would people do if you like just put in an exile that they can't really balance because it uses only level 1 gems, so on paper it's extremely weak. But let's say it uses like Ice Spear, GMP, Arctic Breath, Cast on Crit, Fireball, you know, quad something, and just lags you out. Like, how would they? They're like, we're not gonna put this into the game because it's too laggy. Like, they can't do that. So I wonder how would they balance characters that just simply disconnect you from the game.
Yeah.
They offer a supporter pack that gives you a good computer. That's how. There you go. Done.
I'll be right back, guys.
I am really excited about this. So someone else in the community is doing their own little third-party project, and his name is Green Dude. I believe he's working with Willy Wonka, and he's doing a low-level dueling. I believe Season 1 already happened, and it is one of the coolest things out there. And with the release of Spectator Mode, I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of awesome things on Twitch or whatever they choose to stream it. Low-level dueling. It's really something anybody thought about. The level cap, I believe, is level 28. You can't use any one of those 31 support gems or those 31 active gems. Mm-hmm. Is this something you guys would actually participate in? You know, if it was streamed and there was all this hype, is this like the beginning of esports for Path of Exile? Do you guys really think this could take off?
Honestly, like, I think it's something that a lot of people can jump into, and I think that should attract a lot of players, because it's, even though it's, you know, for level 28, there still is a lot of thought process knowing you can only spend so many points, you know, you can only use so much gear, etc. So I think it's definitely something a lot more of the community can actually participate in. So I'd like to hope that, you know, a whole bunch of people will come together for it. So what about you, Raiz?
I've never actually like tried serious PvP. I've only heard about it, but whenever I hear about it, everyone always talks about no, you don't do it at max level. You do it at level 28. So it seems, for me, it's extremely hyped, and hopefully it's really great, but I have yet to get into it. So not much of an opinion here, but I'm a big fan of esports, so hopefully that is something that would get broadcasted and people will watch it. And I mean, I love Green Dude and I love Willy, so I'm sure they would make I'm sure they would make it really, really, really good. I just didn't explore that part of the game yet.
You would be surprised. There's somebody in my Gildan game named Suicide Rage, and this dude has a 6-link level 28. Like, he went out of bounds to get a 6-link for a level 28 item, and he's trying to craft this. This is a whole new way to take on the game. You know those 6 links that are just really crappy item level? No, now they're worth something. Are we going to see more of this? I think this is one of the coolest things around, honestly.
He has to cross the lower eye levels as well, so it's like you know, eternal exalting for the low eye levels. Because if he crosses the higher eye levels, he can't use the item. I love that. That's so good. That's so meta. It's like oh shit, it rolled the level 29 eye level.
Yep.
So good.
There's no YOLO exalt with that thing.
Eternal.
You screw yourself.
No. That's awesome.
Seems definitely like a money sink. I'm very interested. And hopefully spectator mode is good. What do you mean?
It's like, we're too high level and everything's too unbalanced, so we're gonna do it at low level, but we can still use the unbalanced things. I'm not sure. It's gonna be. I think there's gonna be rules that are gonna prevent stuff like that. That is just so extremely rare, just so difficult to get. I mean, it's not easy to get a level 28 6-link. It's not easy. So
No.
We'll see.
Oh man, Stacy, you gonna do some low-level dueling? Better. Come on now.
Maybe if Green Dude plays with me, sure. I think it's a good way to get like people that are new to Path of Exile to play, because it's only a level 28. And whereas like endgame mapping that I like to do is like you have to get a really high level character and go through all the quests, kill all the bosses. So it's kind of good for people that are newer, or like people that want to just play against other people.
That's a pretty good point, because it's like PvP is very difficult to get into in general, but if there's good bracketing, to level 28 dueling is something a new player can take a character to 28, you know, maybe spend a little bit of time gearing up and then start dueling. Like if there's other people in that sort of bracket, that sort of casual low level dueling, PvP bracket. I'd love to see that, and that'll be something that'll definitely draw some more people in, because there are I think a good number of people out there that do love action RPG PvP. It's not for me, but I can definitely see the appeal of it. I know I'll be watching the shit out of Green Dude and Willie's cast, though. That sounds like a good time.
Absolutely. In case you guys are wondering, here's the
So
link to it.
interested.
It's PoEarena.com. I've been linking it a couple times here in chat. But you could go there, you could sign up, you could get with Green Dude. I'm sure as much hype as this thing, we want this thing to have a lot more hype. I love third-party things where the community comes together and makes their own thing. So give Green Dude and Willie a lot of credit. They've been working their butt off on this. Like, seriously, it takes a lot of time and effort. And in case you guys didn't know... Oh, sorry, Rise. Green Dude
Sorry, one more thing. Like, it's either really encouraging or really discouraging. Just to say, like, on top of what Stacy said, because let's say you start a new game, right? Let's say it's a MOBA. So you play Dota 2 and you play your first game, you crush the opposite side, you're like, yes, this is the best game ever. Then you play the second game and you get completely crushed. So this is a thing that you're a new player, you get into, and you get killed constantly, right? So it can be really fun or really bad for newer players. But I think it's a really cool concept, just very black or white.
You DDoSed Green Dude's site, by the way.
There you go, Green Dude. Much love, brother. All the attention is caused a negative. Didn't mean it. Check it out when it's not DDoS. I'm sorry. That's good. It gets the hype it needs.
Bookmarks for later.
In case you guys want to hear more about this, Green Dude will be coming on State of Exile Podcast, episode 14. Episode 14 he will be on, so he's going to talk everything about this, and I'm so excited to have him on board. He actually agreed to it right before we went live. So thanks again, Green Dude, and I hope this PoE Arena is nothing but a success for you.
I'm sure it will be. So
our last segment of all, the Q&A. This is where we encourage you guys to continue to keep asking questions at your directed streamer. Whatever you want to say, just put Q&A at ZiggyD or Q&A at Pohx. Any questions that we have saved right now are going to be going over, and we can have this go as long as you guys want until you guys are done. Right? Is that how you feel, Ziggy?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Who wants to kick off the first question?
I guess I'll ask the question for this one. At everyone, you have been chosen to be a Forsaken Master for the next expansion. What are you the master of? We'll start off with Pohx. What are you the master of, Pohx?
Oh man, I think I'm gonna have to think about this. I know Zeno's smiling, so I'm gonna take it off with Zeno. Then you can start off.
Oh come on, I was smiling. Really? Really? I'm the master of death because that's the best thing I've ever done in this game. I die a lot. I'm not good at this game.
Oh.
I am not good at this game.
It's not like a summoner.
I'm not.
I die.
I'm not edgy and I like death, man, and death metal. No, I'm the master of death because I'm probably dying when you try to talk to me in game. There you go. or the master of AFK. I've died a lot to that too. But so Pohx, I'm gonna shoot it right back at you.
I guess I'll be the master of, overreacting to things, because I know a lot of people are like, Pohx, why are you so scared of that little zombie? Like, man, he has powerful crits! He could, like, one-shot you! And I guess I'm definitely the master of overreacting to a lot of things, because I'm also very scared. Cause when you're very unlucky, and like, Pohx, it's just a little Storm Herald. I'm like, but if that Storm Herald crits you 3 times in a row, you're triple shock stack, 90% increased damage, and then that zombie with powerful crits does 90% more damage. So that I would say that's me, the master of this. Yeah. So what about you, Rice?
I'd be the master of flute and KFC.
Oh my god, the flute.
And PKs.
And PKs.
Now we're gonna see a bunch of Turo in chat. Please, Rise.
You caused it. You caused it.
What would you be the master of, Stacy?
Yeah. Right now, Righteous Fire.
The master of Righteous
you
Fire.
would.
Oh, yes, the master
You
of
would.
Fire.
I have 2 level 96 Righteous Fire characters right now. In
Can't argue with
hardcore.
results. Can't argue with results. That's it. I think I'd be the master of no DPS builds. Oh, 6 self burn. What?
in before EK, Mom, Scion. Everyone's like, man, this build's so good.
Every EK might have matter. Arctic Armor Scion.
Ziggy, I just started streaming when you released that build on YouTube, and everyone's like, I'm playing Ziggy's build right now. I'm playing Ziggy's build right now. And they're like, I don't do any damage, but I don't die, so it's really cool. I'm like,
that's what people wanted. Give the people what they want.
I called it the old Yeller build, like take it out back and put it down.
Old Yeller. Well, I think that build will be getting some DPS in the new expansion, guys. So look forward to that. I'm going to reinvigorate it with some added chaos cast speed action. I think it'll be good. But yeah, back in the day, it was just about living. It was just about living.
Okay.
Path of defense.
A bunch of people sold maps, so I was happy. It was good.
Added chaos. Everyone's always talking about added chaos. It's like, Rise, you're using lightning warp, I see. Why don't you put added chaos on it? That's a pretty good clarity aura. Why don't you attach added chaos to it? Ziggy, you have ruined the PoE community with added chaos. Okay.
Next Ziggy
Like
mode
every,
confirmed. Is added chaos mode.
Yep.
It's coming in.
People need to stop listening to me.
So what do we got for the next question?
Here we go. From Green Dude, we have Q&A at all. Do you guys think players should be allowed to borrow their friends' unlocked crafting benches? Would this be OP or not? I guess I'll kick things off here. I really like this idea. I like this idea. If you want to go for the achievements, you still need to level them up yourself, but it fosters more of that idea of the guild identity, guild community. I think sharing like only within like your guild or something would be a good idea. I'd like to see something like this. These sort of shared features I'm generally in favor of. I can't really see too many problems with that so much. It's going to obviously be a boost for people that are in good guilds, but that's like always going to be the case anyway. People that work together should benefit in some way, I think. So I'd like to see something like that. Maybe. What do you think?
This is a good one.
Zeno?
Man. All right, let's talk about it now. When you put an enchant on it, does it become account bound to specifically you? For instance, let's get 6%. Okay, so this could be a trading point. This is a way to make maybe trade better. Selling level 7 Scion, for instance, whatever she does. I'll craft this for you for the price of 2 chaos.
Mm-hmm. I could
Think
see
about
happening.
that. Whatever the first one you get, well, in these new leagues, for example, let's say you choose Haku. Do you think people will be selling weapon elemental damage to chest and helmet if they have not unlocked it yet? Do you think this is something we'll see in trade? If so, or is it going to become account bound so that this stops people from doing that kind of thing?
Too casual.
No,
No remorse. Don't do it.
I don't see any
I think it's
account bound. I see trading, yeah.
I think it's gonna be like noogie deals type of deal and like Diablo free crafting, streamers crafting and all that. And that didn't get a very good reputation, so I think people should do it by themselves.
I agree.
I agree with Grumpy Man for the sole reason of since even though you do, like I see it from Ziggy's point of view, if you want the achievements, you have to do it for yourself. But then you lose an incentive to do it if it's just for an achievement.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole, like, what I'm excited for is a new thing to grind, like a reputation grind.
Yeah.
If not, then it could just be like, oh, we have, 10 people in the guild. Each one does just a different master, and that's it. And now you can just share it between yourselves. And I don't know, I feel like it kind of takes a little bit away from the incentive to do it to make sure, like, oh, I now have, I have gotten, everyone to max. Now I can make any character. I don't have to worry about the economy. I can craft my basic, my basic stuff myself, and I can move on and be happy with my life. So I like it like this as it is. Hopefully that they don't, converge it. But what
I
do
think
you think?
you've sold me. I like that idea of everyone instead, leveling up their own master and then trading gear. I like that idea, actually. I like that more. So
Yep.
you've sold me. That was a quick conversion.
That's a better way to do it, Pohx. Wow, way to be better than me.
Owned.
I think also you can still kind of like, isn't there a limit to only having, you can only have 4 of them in your hideout, but you can still level up all of them to
Right.
max level.
You could choose
There's like
which
an
one.
achievement for that. Okay.
So, what was I going to say about Forsaken Masters? There was something that just popped in my head and it was gone. I hate when that happens. Oh well. Next question. It'll pop back in.
Okay, from Tefl67, we have Q&A all. What do you think about the current state of curses, especially multi-cursing, which becomes totally broken when you get 3 to 4 curses in a full group? Oh, guys, you're moving the chat on me. Increases clear speed and survivability, yes. You should be rewarded for speccing gear some items, but OS All right, so I think I think the general of it is what do you think about the current state of curses and multi-cursing?
Stace, you play RF. Let's talk about curses.
I even played like at the start of the race. I played with the Fixa, and he was a curse. He had curses, and it make the clear speed was amazing. It's really powerful.
Yeah, so it's a real big amplifier. It's pretty much like, I feel like it's almost essential to have like a dual or multi-cursor in any proper group.
I treat
It's
curses.
huge.
I treat them as like an additional support gem. Think about it that way. Like if you get, usually you have one curse by yourself, but when you get that second curse, it's like adding that extra multiplier support gem to your 6-link. You know, you got yourself that. For example, of RF, you got vulnerability, flammability, and then LE weak. You know, that's just crazy.
Personally, I like it because it's a cheap way to invest into something. So say you want to ramp up your damage, you could just roll a poopy amulet until you get +1 curses, and now you just gained, like if you're a caster, an extra like negative, like 35 to 40% penetration for sacrificing one piece of gear. And that will just ramp up clear speed at an insane value, like insane speeds, just for sacrificing one piece. And at the same time, say you die from something from a one-shot, you always have something in the back of your head, like, if that target was enfeebled, would I have gotten one shot? So that's kind of what I look into. What about yourself, Rise?
I think curses are very underrated. Like, think about it. It pretty much scales with your group. So basically, if you're a double cursor, if you cast a curse, let's say elemental weakness, that's current meta, mostly elemental casters. Elemental weakness by itself is so huge because it affects everyone in the party. So if you're using 3 curses, you're already dealing a lot more damage than anyone in your entire group. You're basically like 3 people. On top of that, you can use another curse. And on top of it, you can make a really difficult map really easy. You completely control the state of the game. A person that plays with Baker Cloudly, I'm not sure if he's still doing it, but he used to play a quad cursor. And after they nerfed Freeze Mine, everyone's like, well, Freeze Mine's done. And Cloudly kept on going with the Freeze Mine. And nobody knows about this, but Cloudly's a quad cursor, and he's Freeze Mining with no prolif Shrine Pieties, for instance. And he's doing this, and nobody else is. Sorry to give it away, Cloudly, but I know you're doing it. It's pretty overpowered. It's really strong.
Secrets
So
revealed.
curses are very strong.
Yep.
I think they should nerf them.
Let's talk about
GGG.
Go ahead.
Hold on. GGG did actually announce that they're reworking curses. So what I guess then everyone seems to really feel like curses are in a good spot. It sounds like the consensus is. What do you think they would be reworking? Would it be? I guess if you guys all feel it's in a good spot, I would assume it's going to be some sort of making them a little bit less powerful or making them a little bit less mandatory. What do you guys think would be a rework happening? Any ideas?
How about the more targets affected by the curse, the less effect it has on them? Not like an insane margin, but just so when you curse a pack of 40 mobs, you shouldn't just be able to one-shot something and it just spreads insta-kills. So what if losing just a little bit of diminished value per mob affected because bosses already have that reduced threshold of curses on them. So I think maybe something like that.
I think they're going to get a slight buff, not a nerf at all. Think about things like vulnerability. You're playing a physical damage class, and you do not have that much int to freaking level up your vulnerability. How annoying is that? Or you're enfeeble. You're at the point you're like, I'm a dex strength hybrid. Why do I need to have this much int to be able to use enfeeble? That drives me crazy. Or this much mana. You have to put it on blood magic. I think they might get might adjust the mana cost, or possibly even make it so they're more accessible to other classes. Or something like Warlord's Mark that's never played. Is that going to get changed for the better? We're all forgetting Poacher's Mark here, guys. The new curse coming out.
Oh,
hello? So
yeah, we haven't mentioned this. What do you think it is?
Me? I think it's a healing debuff. Some sort of like MS effect, Mortal Strike effect. Some sort of healing debuff. That's my personal thing. Might actually do something else along with it. That's what my speculation is.
I was initially thinking a bow-related curse, because I feel like bows need some improvements. But someone else mentioned Trapper, and Poacher makes a lot of sense with trapping. So it could be a trap-related curse. I don't know what we'll do with traps. I feel like maybe it would be some I don't know how much this is needed because I haven't played a trapper in a long time, but maybe a curse that combines a bunch of different trap effectiveness things. So obviously you get some trap damage and stuff in there, but maybe like trap trigger radius, so mobs are more likely to trigger traps. Maybe, I don't know, whatever other things you could work into traps to make them more useful. Some sort of curse utility for traps.
Things
Would that be
are
needed? I don't know.
things people are saying in chat is either accuracy or MF, poachers, killing. That's a good way to put it. I never thought of it that way.
Oh god. More magic find.
Accuracy makes sense to me. Accuracy does indeed make sense.
Projectile weakness works for projectiles for accuracy, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Increases the chance
Yep.
to hit them. So you could have a general accuracy towards something else. Or reduced block chance, so that's very specific, so probably not. I don't know. I'm really interested. I love it. I love all the new stuff.
As our resident trapper, Rise, what would you see out of a trap curse, or would you like to see out of a trap curse, if anything?
Out of a trap curse, I think honestly it cannot be a trap curse. Just I can't see it working. It would have to be like one effect, unless, I mean, everything traps have it pretty good with curses right now. So I think
cannot do
it's just a
damage.
magic
Yeah.
find. So I think it's just a magic find, maybe with like some smaller effect on top of it, or some sort of, you know, payoff kind of skill. But then poacher's mark, not really. But that's like a curse that I would think of they would implement into the game. You get some more of something, less of something else. Some sort of drawback to it. I'm not sure.
Ziggy, you totally just dimed out Pohx.
What? Poison arrow trap.
Oh,
What are you
man.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Pohx has
You know,
never played a trap build,
No,
guys.
I'm like
not fun
RaizQT
stuff.
poison arrow trap. That's what I think when I think Rise.
Pohx has made a build that has one-shot bosses with his trap. Just threw down the trap,
Okay,
done.
all right.
No,
I'm
it's
just
like-
saying.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. In reality, though, I don't. If it was a trapping curse, it cannot be any type of damage modifier. Like it's not possible, because if you go crit trapper, like even though crit multiplier was nerfed, you can still. I'm pretty fairly confident saying that you could one shot Temple Piety with 2-player HP with crit weakness. Like I'm pretty confident with fire trap. Or if you don't one shot her, I'm sorry, maybe you'll throw 2 traps and kill her. Definitely. So adding damage onto that, I just cannot see it happening, because you can already scale the damage with traps, depending on what type of trap you're using. So I would say if they were to do it, maybe trap trigger radius or a trap AoE radius. But at the same time, I don't really know what they would do if it was geared towards traps. Unless maybe you can lay your traps down and then curse and they fly to the affected targets. Like I have no clue. But I mean, that sounds kind of cool,
That's the
right?
mind
Just be like,
buff.
oh,
They're removing
I
it
missed-
by adding this.
yeah, I missed my trap. Okay, curse, and then just whoosh and just fly. Like, I think that'd
What?
be pretty cool.
Screw
Come on,
game
how
physics.
many? For anyone who's played a trapper, tell me you haven't like thrown a trap and you're like, oh crap, I know I'm desynced, and all of a sudden you like aim over there, you throw your trap, but it's coming from over here, and then the mob is actually right next to you, and you're just like, okay, all right, game, good to know.
You see the trap like coming from behind you, like it's like on a
you
string or
do.
something, and you're like throwing it.
That would make it a lot
How you
more
know you're
smoother.
desynced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because trappers do have a problem with that. They do a lot of damage, but it's kind of clunky at times. So that would kind of fix it. I mean, no offense, it's a ridiculous idea, but that
I
would
think
fix the clunkiness of it. I like it. I
Oh.
like it. I honestly like it.
All right, I think we got time for one more question. What do you think, Ziggy?
Yeah, depending on how long it is. Okay, what do we got here? We've got a few interesting ones. Man, heaps of interesting questions. Good job on the questions, guys. Okay.
Take your pick. There's a bunch.
Yeah, I'm trying to pick a good one for our last one. It appears, all right, unsung cesspool at all. It appears they are adding more and more ways to increase player damage. Do you feel GGG need to address power creep in the game, and how do you think they should go about doing this? This is something I've definitely thought about.
Ooh.
What was that, Raiz?
Houses. Just give them houses so they do something when they're not killing mobs. You kill mobs faster, but then you place benches in your house.
That's out
Please.
of the box thinking there,
Please.
Rise. I like this. Power
it's
creep houses.
it doesn't
Fucking
doesn't seem
epic.
like it, but I mean over 1,000 hours, if you spend 100 of them in your house, maybe you're gonna get that level slower.
Honestly, they've
The
already
house is such
started
a
it,
fun place to be.
but I think crit multiplier is still imba. It is so strong. Like crit, it's path of crit, path of righteous fire, like path of summon raging spirit, but crit in general is just ridiculous. There's like as long as crit multiplier can get scaled as nearly as high as it can currently, it's just ridiculous. That's all I could say. It's just absurd.
Well, there is reflect, so you have to remember there's always going to be that little modifier that reflect will always be there. And there are builds, don't get me wrong, that can counter it, but at the same time, every time you scale your damage, you're usually sacrificing something. Usually, not always. Like you're sacrificing, say for prime example, if you want a frenzy charge or an endurance charge from, Merciless Bandits, you could have taken frenzy or power. You could have taken the endurance charge, which is like a flat 4% against physical damage. Or when you pick up a crit multiplier node, you could have taken a life node. So I think it's okay. I think it's just the high scaling of things that need to be addressed a little bit, possibly, which I think with the fix of snapshotting, it should be a lot better. That's my opinion towards it. But I think it's all right as of now.
I guess we can't really deny that the game's gotten easier over time, though.
Oh yeah.
I certainly feel that way.
Mhm.
So that's
Yes.
like a clear sign of power creep, and that's obviously going to have to be curtailed at some point. Like they do add, obviously, like the simplest answer is adding harder and harder content, but that kind of makes the rest of the content either have to be retuned or rebalanced, and that is obviously an answer, or or it becomes the rest of the content becomes too easy.
Maybe that is it. Maybe they're buffing the skills, like they're buffing some of the unused skills, so now they can like buff the mob's health on top of that and their survivability in next league. I'm not sure. It's not an easy fix. It's definitely not an easy fix.
I think about like when beta was out, was like Terran Shiver, and you still see a lot of Searing Touch, but all those builds kind of just start to die off, and everyone's just like leaning more towards daggers over time, and traps are now huge. There was no traps when we first started.
No.
There was no
No,
traps.
there
There was Fire Trap.
People use Bear Trap in majority of builds. They like held the Bear Trap when the scaling was ridiculous. But other than that, I don't really think.
Yeah.
I think maybe it was more of a filler, but no trap because there was no trap nodes in the original PoE. You know that for sure.
No trap uniques, nothing.
Mm-mm.
All right. So I want to thank Stacy and Rise for stopping by today. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being guests on the show. Yeah.
Hooray!
I also want to thank Grinding Your Games for supporting this podcast. You guys are awesome for watching, listening to the words we got to say. And thanks again, Twitch, for throwing us on the front page. It means a lot. This is actually the podcast with the most viewers we've ever had. So, yeah, all you viewers out there, woo!
Hype.
Thank you,
guys
everybody,
for
for
showing
tuning
up.
in.
It was a blast.
I blame Rise's hosting. That's what it was.
That host bomb from Rise. Oh, damn.
So, what's coming on with the next
Rise your
podcast?
dongers.
Oh, Rise your dongers.
So-
Yeah, what do we got for the next podcast? That's a good announcement.
Next podcast, we have Mano. And right now, he's trying to go for
Oh, baby.
200 subscribers. He even said he will shave everything except for his eyebrows on the pre-show if he hits 200 subscribers. That's worth $5 IMO right there. Go sub. I want to see that on stream. Man Ocean's going to come by, give his words of wisdom in trolling. And then we have Green Dude for episode 14. He's going to talk about some low-level PvP. And so stay tuned, guys. We're not going anywhere. The podcast is a lot of fun. I love doing it. Hopefully, you guys love doing it, too, because it's a blast.
Definitely.
For sure. It's
Always.
It's
Always a
definitely
pleasure.
worth waking up at 4 a.m. for.
That's right.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it.
So much hype. That's how I do it. I fuel myself with hype.
And the last thing I want to say is Path of Exile is a free-to-play game. You can find it on pathofexile.com or Steam. And the company will... The only time they ever went pay-to-win was some April Fool's prank thing. But literally,
Fireworks.
the game is not free-to-play. You pay for aesthetics. You pay for fun. You don't pay for the, free gear. That's the best thing ever right there. So go check it out, pathofexile.com. Support the game. Support the company. A bunch of good guys. You guys got anything else to say before we close?
No, just thank you so much for everyone who comes out and supports it. I really do appreciate it, and just know that we really do take everything you say into consideration. So thanks again, everybody.
Alrighty.
It's awesome. Thanks for being a
Oh.
part of it. See you later, guys.
Stay tuned for the microtransaction giveaways. Forgot about that part. We're giving away some MTX.